Welcome to the USA Dog Behavior Podcast. I'm Scott Sheaffer, a certified dog behavior consultant and behaviorist specializing in all types of canine behavior issues. In today's episode, why are some dogs aggressive? When I was thinking about what to talk about today and write about, it occurred to me that we get into a lot of details about dog aggression, and sometimes I think we forget, why are some dogs aggressive? What is the basic reason that dog A is aggressive to humans and or dogs, and dog B is fine with everybody? Is there a key element there? And the answer is yes, there is. Because aggression in dogs is a complex behavior that normally stems from fear rather than the dog's inherent hostility. Understanding the root cause of aggression is critical for effective management and rehab. This is something that I preach in all my writing and in podcasts and videos all the time if you listen to me regularly. Fear, as I mentioned earlier, is the primary driver of aggressive behavior in dogs. When a dog perceives a threat, whether it be a person, another dog, or even some unfamiliar object, it may react aggressively to simply protect itself. It is not protecting the owner. It is not protecting the house, the dog's siblings. No, it's protecting itself. Dogs are primal animals, and their interests don't go much beyond themselves. I know for some of you dyed-in-the-wool dog lovers like me, that's hard to maybe accept a little bit, but they are animals, and their interests are very simple. This type of aggression is simply a defensive mechanism aimed at increasing distance from the perceived threat. And that's how dogs become more calm and safe feeling and less threatened, is to put some distance there. In the dog behavioral world, we call this defensive aggression, even though it appears as if it is purely offensive. Another way to look at it is offense is the best defense. Animals do this all the time, even outside of dogs. It's important to distinguish, however, between reactivity and aggression. These are two terms that are commonly misunderstood, I think, even in the dog training world. Reactivity is the umbrella term we use when a dog overreacts to stimuli. This overreaction can manifest as aggressive and or avoidant behaviors. So reactivity is the umbrella term when a dog that we use when a dog overreacts to something. And it can manifest as aggression to move the scary thing away, or an attempt to do that, or to try to run away. Examples of these reactive behaviors include barking, lunging, trying to get away, hiding, and a host of other behaviors. We also call these agonistic behaviors as well. It's another term that we use for reactive behaviors. In my experience, this is really interesting and important. I found approximately 90% of dogs, maybe even a little bit more, but around 90% of dogs choose aggression when they are reactive to humans or other dogs. What am I saying here? When a dog is scared of another dog or another human, in 9 out of 10 cases, they'll use aggression to get it to move away, or an attempt to get it to move away so that they feel safer. About 10% of dogs will try to move away from the thing. In other words, they'll try to increase the distance by avoidance. They'll try to go the other direction, maybe try to hide, and they'll create distance that way. These two behaviors really are a result of fear. It's just a different way of responding to it. And these two behaviors we call distance-increasing behaviors. Can you see they're really the same thing? One just uses offense is the best defense as a technique. The other uses avoidance, let me move away. You actually see this in, of course, humans as well in conflict. In short, most dogs who are fearful of other dogs or humans react with aggression toward them instead of just trying to get away. 90%, in my experience. There are a number of reasons that dogs choose aggression in almost every instance, 9 out of 10 times. And the major one for pet dogs is leash frustration, which I cover in other podcasts and blog posts. In short, leash frustration just says the dog knows that they are tethered to the owner and can't get away from the scary thing. So what is their only option? To use aggression to get the scary thing to move away. It's called leash frustration. This is why reactive dogs typically do pretty well in dog parks, because why? They're not leashed to an owner and they are free to create distance and movement to make them feel safe. There are several factors that can contribute to fear-based aggression. I'm always asked, why? Why does my dog do this? I don't want to get too philosophical here, but before I answer the why, the major reasons why, I just want to say, does it really matter? I don't want, with my private clients, I don't like investing a lot of time in the why, because it just doesn't really matter at this point. Here we are, here's the issue, let's use that energy and time to move forward. So typically when a client asks me that, or if I'm asking a class situation, I'll give just a brief answer, because I just don't think it makes a lot of sense to spend time on that once we're already there. But let me give you a few of the whys. Here's 4. Number 1, lack of socialization. Dogs who haven't been exposed to various people, animals, and environments during their critical socialization period, and by the way, that's the first 12 to 16 weeks of life, depending on who you talk to. If they're not exposed, they may develop fear responses to unfamiliar stimuli. Number 2, past trauma. Negative experiences such as abuse or neglect can lead to heightened fear and defensive aggression. So think about this for a second. The first one was lack of socialization. That's really a crime of omission on the part of the dog breeder, for example. Past trauma is an act of commission by the dog's handlers and those that the dog is around. Number 3, genetics. Some breeds may have a predisposition to reactive behaviors, especially if bred for guarding or herding. One other little note here on genetics. Puppy mills are very bad about breeding for looks, breeding for appearance, breeding for those cute colors, breeding for those cute ears, and they pretty much completely ignore the behavioral and physical attributes of that breeding. Don't even get me going on this. I see this all the time, and I'm telling you, puppy mills have absolutely ruined a lot of our great breeds. The one that comes to mind is German Shepherds. It is just getting to the point where it's hard to find a beautiful, genetically healthy, genetically temperament is good. It's just hard to find that anymore because puppy mills have just absolutely ruined the breed, and there's others. And I'll tell you one that's coming is French Bulldogs. Very popular breed. Yeah, just wait 5 or 10 years and see what we have coming out of these puppy mills. It's not going to be pretty. It just really bothers me, as you can tell. All right, and the final factor, major factor that causes fear-based aggression would be medical issues, of course. Like pain or neurological problems can cause changes in behavior, including aggression. I think, of course, we see that in people as well. Addressing fear-based aggression involves a combination of 3 specific strategies. 1, desensitization and counter-conditioning. In other words, gradually exposing the dog to the fear-inducing stimulus in a controlled manner while associating this with positive experiences can reduce fear responses. This is Animal Science 101. The second leg of that 3-pronged approach to addressing these behaviors, professional training. Yeah, working with a qualified dog behaviorist can provide tailored strategies to manage and modify aggressive behaviors that are specific to that dog. So we have in our playbook these standard things we do, but every dog is a little bit different, and I have to say, of the thousands of aggressive dogs that I've worked with, I don't think I've ever done 2 exactly the same, ever. In fact, as I start to work with them, I will frequently modify what I'm doing as I get to learn that specific dog. And on just a little side note here, I'll also modify the strategies as I get to know the strengths and weaknesses of the owners dog handling skills. Just a little side note there. All right, last thing to address aggression is in a medical evaluation. There are times when I'm working with a client where I think there might be a physical issue or even a neurological issue with the dog, and so I will get a vet to take a look at that, rule those out, rule out any pain issues, things like that. Because nothing worse than chasing a behavioral issue only to find out that it's just a physical or neurological issue. Understanding that aggression in dogs normally stems from fear rather than malice on the part of the dog is key to addressing the behavior effectively. In fact, on my private clients, if I can get them to really internalize that reality, we've made a lot of improvement. We've moved that game piece well down the road, or the board, I should say. With proper intervention and early enough, many dogs can greatly improve and lead much happier lives. So this is an issue. Yes, these behaviors are embarrassing for the owner when the dog is aggressive. It's embarrassing for the owner. It could be legal issues as well, even civil issues if the dog really injures somebody. But we also have to remember the dog's not happy. The dog is living in a fearful state, and so the dog becomes happier as well when there's some improvement with treatment. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy these quick insights into dog behavior, please don't forget to subscribe for more of these bite-sized episodes and leave a review if you find these episodes helpful to you. You can find us at usadogbehavior.com or follow us on Facebook by searching for USA Dog Behavior. See you next time. Now go love your dog.